Well, hello everybody. Today we're talking real estate stuff. And my special guest today is Alan Perry of Movement
Mortgage.
Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Great. It's great to see you. It's been a couple months
Yeah, it has
since we
been.
chat.
Yeah, lots of going on, lots of things.
So Alan is one of my sort of go-to favorites of many different loan options that we have here on our island. This is a one-shot take, by the way. There's no editing going on here.
Not at all.
So this will just be off the cuff. But I am, of course, Margaret Crenshaw with the Kaiser Teton Group at eXp Realty. And, we haven't talked in a couple months. So much speculation moving into the end of the year last year about what was happening with interest rates.
Right.
Where were we? What has happened, and
Sure.
kind of where are we going?
Yeah, so last year was there were so many different things that happened. The inflation was out of control. The Fed was aggressively raising rates, hiking rates. And in October, we started
scaring off buyers
and also creating a little bit of a challenge within the confidence of the markets. And, mortgage interest rates rose as well. So, in October, we started to see things begin to settle down a little bit. Inflation was cooling, and it had cooled, right? And it continues today to still cool the jets a little bit. So we saw some improvement in rates, at the beginning of this year after, some records last year of 8%. So we saw them come back down into the sixes, which was great. But also at the same time, which is somewhat of an anomaly, inflation's coming down, but employment numbers are still rising. So that just indicates that inflation could rear its ugly head again. Most likely it won't. But so with that concern, we've seen interest rates pop back up just a little bit. And, everybody's talking about the Fed cutting rates, the second, third, and fourth quarter of this year. Don't expect it within the first quarter.
Right.
So, the national economists are saying that by the end of this year, we'll be in the low sixes. So, what we look at is you buy now, right? You still take advantage of today's prices because we know that when those rates do begin to drop, that we're going to see an increase in value.
That's right. And, I just had a chat with a new buyer today, and she is an investor. And she has lots of rental property.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started to give her the whole spiel about, when the rates come down, there'll be more competition in the market. Now is actually a better time to buy. You can always refinance later.
Right.
She totally understood what I was saying. And I was like, oh, it was nice to hear a confidence in somebody's voice, because I think what you have also just pointed out is the uncertainty of everything that as we were moving towards the end of the year, and now the glimmer of hope sort of that we have.
Yeah, so today core inflation numbers came out basically in line with last month and some revisions for the month before, so it's flat. And that is really a strong message saying that, hey, you know what, recession probably won't happen. But we've got to watch those employment numbers, because the more people are being hired and being paid, the more they spend, and that can cause some issues with inflation.
Right. What are you telling? So, what are you basically telling people who are calling you saying that they want to? Spring is our best, strongest selling season. Here in Hilton Head. So what have those conversations look like?
Yeah, so, we're off the highs, right? So we're not at that 8% number or even higher in some instances. And it's just having the conversation, this is where the market's going, and this is how we're going to price your loan and what we're going to do to make certain that you get the best deal today, but let's look at it in another 6 to 12 months, because as rates come down, we'll refinance you out of it and get you into a much lower payment.
Right. So I think the big message is still, anybody waiting for the rates to come down further might run into a little bit more competition.
Yeah.
And so it's not a bad idea to go ahead and get your ducks in a row for this spring selling season, even though our interest rates might come down in a 9-month, 10-month period of time.
Yeah, and it's the same conversation we were having last year. As rates were increasing, the market was still hot. There were a lot of, as you know, cash buyers that came through the market. And now that we're starting to see rates ease a little bit, some are coming back and refinancing taking advantage of some lower rates now that compared to 6 months ago, taking that cash, maybe buying something else.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep getting phone calls from these, I don't know, all these crazy international
Mm-hmm.
and national companies that are offering me a HELOC. And a lot of people are asking me about that. Do you have a second just to
Sure.
talk about HELOCs?
Yeah.
And what that means?
Yeah. So, with the values today, you've got equity in your house. And, for those of you that are staying in your home and have a lower interest rate, but yet you need some additional funds to fix up the property or take a vacation, whatever it may be, you can go out and get a home equity line of credit. Typically, I recommend that people go to their banks for that because that's where they're going to get the better interest rate and the better product. And just utilize your assets in a different way and keep your good rate if you have it already in the low threes for those of you out there. But home equity is always a good opportunity to utilize and tap into your funds.
Mm-hmm. And us being a second home market, a lot of folks will take a HELOC out on their primary home
Right.
in some other part of the country and pull that cash out in order to make a down payment on their second home here. So
That's correct.
that's why I get asked that question quite a lot.
Yeah.
And it's good to know that it's still a good option.
Oh, it is. It's a great option. And when the Fed does start to lower those rates, those rates will come down as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Okay.
What didn't we cover?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's the spring season, so we've got a lot of great events coming up and fun things. It's a great time to be on Hilton
Best
Head.
time in the world to be in Hilton Head. So we do have, it is our selling season. It's spring break for a vast majority of folks. We have the Heritage golf tournament coming up. What are the dates of that this year? It's usually around your birthday.
It is. It's the 17th to the 21st.
Okay, 17th, folks.
April.
Of April. And then in May, we have a little bit of a lull. That's also a very good time to come down and look at property. If you don't already, go ahead and come and look because inventory could start flying off the shelf here.
Yeah.
And then we'll be full on in summer mode.
That's right. And everybody will be here looking.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So if someone wanted to reach out and contact you about this, other than, of course, calling me, how can we get in touch with you?
Sure. So email is alan.perry@movementmortgage or at movement.com. And of course, my cell, 843-683-3634.
Cool. So it's alan.perry@
movement.com.
All right. There you have it. And of course, I can be reached at 843-384-9621 or Margaret at margaretcrenshaw.com. Thanks for joining in. We'll see you next time. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me again.
All right. Take care.